Good afternoon and welcome once again to In the Hot Seat with Deborah, Fennella and
Tony Gogh. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. We're a little bit late today, actually. We've had a few problems with the internet, unfortunately, but we did get there in the end.
We're there.
So I'm really sorry to our wonderful guest that's been waiting very patiently for us to get ready. So we're really excited and blessed to be interviewing today singer-songwriter Clive John, who is also the Johnny Cash Roadshow, and he's amazing, and he's due to come down to Dorset on the 11th of September.
Can we just say the award-winning and endorsed show?
Yes, he is. He is a multi-award winning. So good afternoon, Clive. How are you?
Hello, Deborah. Nice to see you again.
Nice to see you too. How are things with you? How have you been coping with the pandemic?
Well, I can't complain. I've enjoyed all of the free time because before the lockdown, I was on the road all of the time. You know, I'll be in, all over Europe. Hi, Tony. By the way,
Oh, sorry, Clive. Yeah.
Yeah, right. And I used to really enjoy my free time. So for the first 6 months, I was like, "Oh, this is lovely." But after 6 months, I was like, "Okay, let's get back to work now." You know, but it's been 17 or 18 months now, and it's just, we need to get back to work. You know, that's it. I mean, financially, my family needs me to get back to work. So we're lining up all of the gigs. I've already lost about 180 shows since the beginning of
that many
lockdown. We were on tour in Belgium last February 2020, and we were supposed to be doing 15 and 16 shows back to back, and we did the first one, sold well. We sold like 500 seats, went down really well, and everybody then was like starting to worry about this thing called COVID. And I went, "Oh, it'll be okay," because I've always been okay over the years, no matter what the political situation is or who's in the government. I've always been able to gig. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I thought, "Oh, it'll be okay. It's just another political thing and scaremongering." But sure enough, the following day we were setting up for our next show, and the manager came in and said, "That'll be the end. Pack it all away. You're not allowed to perform if there's any more than 300 people in." So that was that. We did the first show, and then we came back to England. You know, so that was it, and I haven't done a show since.
Right.
It's been, I think a lot of people have found it very difficult during the pandemic, and it's really sad that so many people have actually lost their lives, Clive, as well. But on the plus side, having that additional time to be at home with our families,
I've really enjoyed that.
That's been very precious, I think, to each and every one of us. And it's been sad because some people have actually lost their actual lives due to COVID, or lost their homes, their jobs, end up homeless as well. And I think it's had a huge impact on the entire world, to be honest. So it's always good to count our blessings that we've still got like a roof over our head and our families that are still here. But I think a lot of people have been also proactive during that time, during the pandemic, by focusing on all of the things that they wanted to do that maybe they didn't necessarily have the time. So did you do any songwriting during that time, Clive?
I've recorded an album of songs. I've written loads of songs. The first one that I wrote was a song called Every Cloud, and it got loads of attention for some reason. And it was my words on the COVID situation. So I wrote the song. I've learned how to use iMovie too, which is something that I could never do before. So I did like a simple video for it, and it did really well. It was one of it was in the top 100 most downloaded songs in the iTunes charts, which
That's
I was
fantastic.
amazed. I know, not that I made any money off it.
That's a shame.
it's expensive to record a song that people can download for nothing. You know what I mean? I've
Yes.
never made sense out of it, you know. But I did it, and I was amazed with all the attention that it got. But that's done now, and it's like forgotten about. Then I recorded an album of my version of a lot of the Johnny Cash songs towards the end of his life. I've recorded that album, and that's called the Highway Home album, and that's got the COVID song on it also. So I've done that. I began writing a book, but I've lost interest in that really. Well, yeah.
Did you get bored?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Just sitting at the computer typing.
It's also dangerous because I'd like to be completely honest about people in my life and people that I've met and musicians and band members that I've fallen out with. And there's a lot of people still alive. So I don't want to get into any possible suing situations. You know what I mean? So I've decided to leave it alone.
Yes.
So I'm just going to do like a pictorial booklet brochure thing. So like a brochure for a show, but like a much nicer version, just with just with photographs and saying this was me when I did this and this was this and that was that, and you know what I mean. So I'm going to do that. So lots of things. I've got new band members, lots of rehearsals. My brain's gone blank. Lots of other things. lots of other things. I've programmed in a show next year where I'm going to be doing a theatre show of just my own material, which is the first time ever because I've always done
exciting.
the job. Yeah. So lots of things going on, but I can't do anything show-wise until the restrictions are all gone. You know. So
yeah. I was just thinking, Clive, you're talking about Johnny Cash's album. I do a country show, and I've got a memory stick with all my tracks on, and I come across some unknown albums from Johnny Cash, and one of the tracks on there that really got me, I wonder if you heard, you may have heard it, obviously you've heard of it, Beans for Breakfast. He had a comedy side to him as well. He had a comedy side to him as well, didn't he, with his singing?
I prefer the comedy side to Johnny Cash. My show, the Johnny Cash Roadshow, I try and focus on the upbeat, more feel good factor of it. So the show's got a more rock and roll feel to it, rather than, because there's a lot of Johnny Cash songs that are quite down and quite reflective. So I don't do too many of those, you know. But Beans for Breakfast, I know that one. That's one from the 70s, isn't it?
Can we just take a listen to this track here?
Yeah.
Let's just take a listen to Clive in business here.
Always be a good boy, don't ever play with guns, but I shot a man in Reno just to watch him die. When I hear that whistle blowing, I hang my head and cry. Wait.
See Clive there chuckling to yourself. We see that you dressed the part as well.
What was that?
You dressed the part as well. You take on his persona completely.
I've actually had a new black suit made up since the lockdown. So looking forward to wearing it.
You got a new brand suit,
Yeah.
See the band members as well. They take on the persona of Johnny Cash's backing band as well, don't they? The suits and all it's going to be immaculate.
I buy the same jackets for the band. So that year there was 2018, and I bought white jackets for all of the band. And this time when we go back, I bought grey jackets. But the problem is I've got 3 new band members and everybody's a different size. So I don't know whether they're going to actually be okay on them or not. But yeah.
So I'd like to sort of go back where it all actually started, Clive, with you, because I did read online that you did actually have an operation, and the surgeon did actually say to you, it'd be good to actually learn a stringed instrument to keep your fingers supple, and that's when obviously you started playing the guitar. So how old was you when that actually happened? Because it didn't actually state when I was like reading up some information about you.
I burned my hands. I'll show you. Look, can you see that? I don't.
Uh-huh.
Oh
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Oh bless
There.
You see the scar in there, yeah?
Beautiful.
Yeah.
How did you burn it then, Clive?
Mm?
How did you burn your
Both
hands?
hands.
Ooh.
I put them on an electric fire. Bear in mind, when I was a kid, it was in the mid to late 70s. And do you remember those? Not that you're old enough, Deborah, of course. But do you remember those electric fires that had the red hot elements in?
Yeah, that's
Yes,
right.
I
Yeah,
do,
yeah.
yes.
With like the cage
Yes.
in front of it. Well, I was only about 2.5, and I put my hands through the cage and I grabbed hold of one of the red hot elements.
Ooh, painful. Ouch.
And I nearly died.
Really?
Oh gosh.
I was in and out of hospital till I was about 5, and I had
Oh bless
Goodness
you.
me.
both my arms plastered all the way up to the elbow, so I couldn't
Oh, painful.
use my hands. So I just
Yeah.
Oh, it's really sad. Your
club
mum must have been
handed it.
beside herself when that happened, Clive.
Yeah. What was that?
Your mum must have been beside herself when that happened, and you grabbing it. I mean, being a mum myself, when the kids were little and they hurt themselves, we get distraught, don't we? So to actually do that and then have to go through all of that as well, bless you.
I don't think they've ever forgiven themselves, really. But my dad was in the room.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, when I actually did it. It's just that he didn't see me going over towards it. So.
The thing is, when you're a child, you're quite inquisitive, aren't you, as a child? I mean, my son used to put crayons down the back of the actual gas fire, and they'd melt, and he'd put them actually in the video player as well as drawing on the wall. So, again, I think sometimes with young lads, they're even more sort of inquisitive, aren't they, sometimes, as well, and you were literally just a little babe at the time, 2.5 years old. So thank God that, you was okay and got into the instruments.
Yes, I just feel I wouldn't say that I like them, but it's just part of me now, and I can't imagine my life without them now, because I've always they've been there always. So I got them off my hands, all the bandages and the plasters, everything, when I was about 5, and the surgeon said I should learn to play the piano to keep my fingers supple, to keep moving. So, and I was always singing anyway. Even when I was in the hospital, I was at the side of the cot. So they said, just singing and keeping everybody awake.
That's lovely. Did your mum and dad sing as well, Clive? Do you come from a family of performers and entertainers?
No, my mum's Irish, and she came across from Ireland to England when she was only about 17. She was a nurse, married a policeman, so all of that sort of thing. So I'm the only one.
Oh, are you?
Can we backtrack a few years now? A little older than you were when you had your accident. How did you come across being Johnny Cash type singer?
That was down to Chris Allen, your friend, wasn't it, Clive, that you actually met, and he gave you a double album of Johnny Cash, and you kept playing it over and over again. That's when your first love for Johnny Cash actually started, didn't it?
You've done your homework on me, haven't you? My God.
I certainly do. Most definitely.
Yes. He was my best friend at the time. I was about, I met Chris when I was about 26, and then we were best friends, and he gave me a double, and at that time I was busy doing solo gigs. I lived in America when I was 25. I went over there, lived there for 6 months. I thought I was going to be there for the rest of my life, but that's a different story. We'll have to allow about an hour and a half on
Well,
another
you've got an
occasion.
hour today, so you can touch on it if you like.
Oh,
We don't
45
mind.
minutes now.
We've got 45 minutes, so, you know,
Right.
please feel free.
Oh my God, I thought we only had about 5 minutes.
No. This is actually an hour show, so, you know, basically the show's yours.
Go on to
Oh, right.
touch whatever you want to touch onto.
Yes.
I didn't. All right. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I wasn't prepared for this at all. I thought.
Oh,
had
sorry, I
about
thought
5
Tony prepared you, Mr. Gogh.
Oh, I do apologise. Well,
I thought that I was one
go
of
as
other
far-
guests.
no.
The show is yours.
This is
You
your
are
show,
the only
mate.
guest on my show today, or our show today.
Oh, thank you.
That's
I
okay.
didn't know. All right. Lovely.
Sorry.
Well, okay. I lived in
Yeah.
America. I left I left Malvern, where I live, when I was just 25. I sold all of my worldly possessions because I was signed to a record label in Ireland when I was with my very first album, which was In a Whisper. That was what it was called. Nothing to do with George Michael.
No. Or horses, by the way.
Yeah, Careless Whisper. That was his, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
And In a Whisper got me the record deal, but the record deal proved to be no use at all. And the guy that owned the label, I can't say his name, but he took me and a load of other singer-songwriters over to America, to Connecticut, to live. It was like this big house, this massive property.
Wow.
With no furniture in it though, because he didn't pay for the furniture. So it was like this huge house, but without any armchairs in it or no furniture. It was really weird. So I had my own bedroom, but with no bed in it or furniture. So I'd literally lay on the carpet every night for about 3 months, which was a nightmare. So anyway, he said, "Oh, you'd be getting the gigs. You'd be turned." He was Irish. He said, "You'd be earning £1,000 a gig, and you'll be turning the gigs away." But the reality was, there wasn't any gigs arranged except from one at a university, and then I was just doing bar gigs, you know, because we lived in Connecticut. I went to New York, which was 2 hours that way, and then up to Boston, which was 2 hours the other way. And the reality was, I was getting paid $100 for each of them, maybe 150 some nights. So it was really hard work. And I got to Boston for the first one, which was on St. Patrick's Day. And over there, they celebrate St. Patrick's Day like you wouldn't believe. They got the pipers walking around in all the kilts and all of that. And the bar, I played at a bar called the Irish Embassy, and it was packed. And I was trying to get in, and it was like a blizzard. So the weather was really bad, and I was on my own and loaded in all of this mixing desk and speakers. I'm trying to get past all of these people. You know what folks are like, you know, they don't move, you know, and it was just a nightmare. So I managed to live like that for 6 months, and then I just had enough. But my uncle lived in New York, and I had a half-an-hour TV program in New York, which went out to thousands of people, of playing just my own material. So that was good, you know. But I wrote a lot of songs when I was over there. So, and some of those songs are some of the favourites now. So I came back to England, yeah, and getting back to where I was, I met my friend, Chris, and he was with me on the road doing, he was just like my best mate, really. And he came with me to all of the gigs. He was great, but it wasn't much use though, because he'd just get pissed, and then I'd have to drive home. Yeah.
So he's a bit of a party animal then, Clive, really, was he?
He was definitely a party animal, yeah. Yeah, but he was always there, you know. So, but bless him, he got a brain tumor and died when he was only 28. And
so sad.
and I was only 30. But before he died, he gave me an album of Johnny Cash music, and I was already playing one or two of Johnny Cash songs within my set because I was doing my own material, bit of the Eagles, bit of Dire Straits, all of the usual sort of things, Irish music, and all sorts of everything. And then he gave me this Johnny Cash, and he said, "Look, you sound more like Johnny Cash than Johnny Cash does, and I think that these songs would really, really suit you." And I listened through to a load of these songs, and I just loved it, and I thought that it suited me. So that began my love for it more, because I was already doing like The Ring of Fire and Walk the Line. So I learned more songs, and then the movie came out in 2005, which was called Walk the Line. Do you remember that?
Yes, it's an amazing movie. I've seen it about 5 times.
Yeah, Whacking
Phoenix.
Phoenix.
Wasn't it? I think Johnny Cash was played by Joaquin, wasn't he?
Whacking Phoenix. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Joaquin. Yeah, Phoenix. Yeah, sorry.
Joaquin, but Joaquin is.
Sorry, I always thought it was Joaquin. Joaquin.
That's how you spell it. Yeah.
You
say it like Joaquin. Yeah.
Joaquin. J is like a Y. Yeah.
Yeah. So everybody bought me the DVD of that film, and I've got about 17 DVDs of it.
Really?
Yeah.
So you send them out to all your friends.
Yeah. I have. So I love the film, and then I thought it'd be great if I do a night of Johnny Cash songs, and I got a bass player and a drummer and a band. So I did, and I did a night at a place in Worcester, like a live music venue called the Mars Bar, and it just went down really well, and I knew that I was onto something more exciting, because what you do when you focus on something, there's more demand for it. If you just become a musician that plays a little bit of everything, then you just become like a pub band, you know what I mean? Whereas if you just focus on one thing, then there's more demand for it, you know. So that's what I did, and I really enjoy his material anyway. But with developing the show, I've been through a million nightmares, like you do whenever there's any money to be made out of doing anything. People can see that, and it always brings on board issues, you know, and there's problems. Like I had to fight off a manager once who was just a nightmare, so had to get rid of him, and that was a nightmare. But luckily I've been on my own now and looking after myself for about 10 years. And
that's a long time, Clive. So you haven't got a manager now, you literally manage yourself without a manager?
I don't want any managers because they just try to control you, you know.
So today, how long has the show been going, Clive?
Since 2005. So yeah.
2005.
So 16 years this year, isn't it? It's a long time.
Minus the lockdown. Yeah.
So you are amazing. I mean, we've seen a couple of your shows. I know Tony's seen more of your shows, and I'm a singer-songwriter myself, and you are phenomenal. Yes, I'm actually signed to a record label, and I've been busy writing songs and, you know, launching them into the charts with the record label as well. But I also write lots of conscious music type songs all about healing the world and how we can make the world a better place and waking humanity up consciously as well. So there's always like important messages in my songs, which is really good. But I've sung since the age of 3 myself, so I understand when you're talking about singing, and it is a passion, isn't it? At the end of the day, it's something that's within you. And when you write a song, you are telling a story as well. So it's wonderful during COVID lockdown that you've been very proactive and writing some of your own stuff as well. And now you're going to be doing an actual show and sing all of those wonderful songs that you've actually written. Yeah,
I mean, we always do one of my own songs within the show. The one that we've been doing for years is September.
Yes.
That's the song.
I think you played that last time we saw you.
Yeah,
because you were using the show then.
It's a Johnny Cash theme song. It's got like a train rhythm to it, and it talks about prisons and shooting people and alcohol and all of the things that Johnny Cash was famous for, you know. So that's why we choose that song. But I mean, I haven't got any other platform to promote myself and my songs, because I'm useless when it comes to manipulating social media. And like a lot of artists can do this because they know what they're up to with social media and how to market. They do better. I think you're more successful if you know how to market yourself, whereas I'm absolutely useless. I'm very, very old-fashioned. I managed to get my songs available to download eventually, but it took me ages to learn the way to do that, and I just did it once, and now if I had to do it again, I'm not sure that I would remember. You know what I mean?
Bless you.
You're already branded anyway, aren't you, as a show? Now, how often do you tweak the show each year? How often do you do that? Do you do it every year or every couple of years?
We have got a Twitter account and an Instagram account, but
No, tweak the show. I mean,
tweak it. It's a very organic thing. I just do it when we're on the road, you know.
Right.
So if a song's not working or the audience repeatedly don't respond to a certain song, then I'll drop that song and put something else in. Or if we just get bored with playing the same songs, then I'll alter it. I mean, obviously we always have to do the hits, you know, but a lot of the others I'll alter it. Like during the show, we probably play about between 34 and 38 songs every night. So that's
really?
A lot. Yeah.
It's a lot of songs in a show, yeah.
Well, it's a lot of songs. It is, but it's a fast-moving song, and a lot of those songs, particularly the ones from the 50s and 60s, they're very short. You know, they're literally about 2 minutes each, you know?
Yeah.
So
a lot of songs back then days were they? 2.5 minutes maximum.
Well, if it was more than 3 minutes, then they wouldn't be able to get the airplay.
No, I mean, it's changed now, isn't it? I mean, I launched a charity single called Homeless at Christmas, and that was literally, I think it was 5 minutes, 4 seconds. And initially I thought, gosh, are the record label going to be able to actually launch the song? But they did. And obviously Bohemian Rhapsody, that was a really long song, wasn't it? And that was launched into the charts as well. So I think things are sort of changing now. But you've obviously got a really good memory. The fact to remember all those 35 songs. I mean, the most I've had to learn is like 55 songs when I did musical theatre West End Nights. And I remember going to bed and those songs going round and round in my head. So do you find the same thing, Clive, that these songs tend to go round and round in your head when you've been on stage?
Yeah, but I'll find myself listening to the rest of the band.
Yes.
Because I know those songs inside out and back to front. Mm-hmm. I can do them if I'm tired or drunk, you know what I mean? I can't,
which is good.
yeah. So I know the songs, but I end up listening to the rest of the band. So if the harmony vocals are a little bit out, because I'm really into the backing vocals, and I try to make sure that the harmony vocals are they're on form. And if there's anybody singing a bit flat or a little bit sharp, then it drives me mental. You know, but the band that I've got, they're really, really good. They're really, really good. So generally, they're ace. You know. So
your lead guitarist has been with you for a while now, isn't he?
Nick's no
longer on your left. He's on he's on your left of you, isn't he? When he did this show.
Yes,
he's to the left of you.
Yes, he's no longer with us. No, I've got a new guitarist who's from. Okay. Belfast, and he's extremely good. He's a singer-songwriter also, you know. So he's really good. I've got Martin, the bass player, the double bass player.
Yeah.
He's from the previous band, and he's with me now also. I've got the same drummer, and I've got 2 brass players also, and they're still with me. my June Carter, my last June Carter, she got pregnant at the beginning of lockdown.
Remember you saying that before, yeah.
And the other one before that, I remember when we actually came to see you perform live at the Pavilion, and then she came to the Tivoli. That was her last show. And she wasn't very well, was she? She was a lovely lady, and she left in 2018. There was another lady took her place. And was that the lady then who fell pregnant that replaced her? I can't remember her name. Can you remember her name?
I can't remember her name.
That's so nice.
The lady that you saw was Amanda.
Amanda, that's it.
Amanda Stone.
That's it.
Yeah, she was a great singer, amazing singer. But they were
so lovely.
Yeah, she was a lovely lady, but I've got to be careful what I say. You know what I mean? She, for personal reasons, among the band, she had to leave. So
Yes.
She's no longer with us, and then Emily joined us, and she was awesome. She was really, really good, full of energy, very young. She was only 30. I wasn't sure whether it worked actually, because I'm like 14 years older than her, so I'm not sure if I looked more like a big brother or a father rather than
yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
I get the same thing, Clive.
yeah.
I get the same thing. In fact, I just say we're just brother and sister, you know.
Yeah, exactly. But it was what it was. And anyway, she got pregnant to her husband because they got married, and they've got a lovely baby. But you can't have a baby and be on the road, really. It just doesn't work. So she's left, but she'll come back and do the occasional show if I need her, you know. But I've got another June Carter, and her name's Megan, and she's just joined, and she's awesome. So I'm looking forward to that, and hopefully she'll last longer than a year.
The other ones,
yeah.
So is she actually coming down when you come down to the Tivoli Theatre in Wimborne on the 11th of September?
Yeah.
With you.
Yeah.
So she's going to be performing there, which would be good. So we'll actually get to meet her.
Yeah, she's going to be with me for every show from now on. Yeah. Oh,
that's fantastic. So what do your family think about, you doing Johnny Cash? It must be so proud of you and the amazing work that you've done over the years as well.
Well, they are. I mean, I personally feel that, well, so far as my wife's concerned, Sarah, she's just very proud of me, obviously, because what I do, I manage to provide for the family, and it's not just that. I do it with passion and everything else, you know, and I make sure that I'm around as much as I can be when we're busy and we're on the road. You know, my eldest boy is taken after me. He's very musical. So when I'm too old, maybe he can fill my shoes, you know, maybe. I don't know.
No, that'd be fantastic if he did. I mean, maybe he'd get on stage with you and perform in the future.
Well, he doesn't sing. He just plays.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't really do Johnny Cash not unless you can sing, you know.
No, but he could play the guitar standing next to you while you're singing. Couldn't he? That'd be really nice.
Maybe, yeah. And my little girl, she loves it. She absolutely loves it. But she's only 6, so
Does
that's
she sing?
Oh yeah, she sings and does cartwheels. Yeah.
Oh, bless her! What, literally singing while she's doing the cartwheels?
Yeah, she prefers my own material though. She always tells me off. She says, "Daddy, why don't you do your own songs more?" Like,
oh, bless her. So do you ever sing with your daughter then?
I do.
Does she sing alongside?
Yeah. I mean, I do Facebook live streams once every 5 or 6 weeks, and I do it before she goes to bed. I do it at 7 o'clock every sort of 5 or 6 weeks on a Friday, and she joins me for the last song or two. So she just
so lovely.
Yeah, and everybody likes that. But yeah, I mean, I feel a bit I sometimes feel like I've sold my soul to the devil, really, because I've just gone for a thing, because it's so hard to make a living out of doing your own material that you have to do whatever you can within your skill set, you know, and And so with me, because I'm not a flamboyant performer, that's what it wouldn't ever suit me to do Elvis or Freddie Mercury or somebody like that. I'm just not that kind of person. That's why Johnny Cash suits me, because he didn't jump around a lot, you know. But that's why I went down that route, because it was the thing that I found that there was enough popularity for it to make a living out of, you know, because you have to be very lucky to make a living out of doing your own thing, you know.
Most definitely. So when did your first love with Johnny Cash sort of start? Was it when you met Chris, or sort of like going as a child? Because you said you used to sing a couple of his songs anyway, didn't you? Did your parents used to sort of like listen to Johnny Cash on the radio, for instance?
Yeah, I mean, my mum's Irish, as I said, and I was always brought up with listening to country music and country Irish music, like Foster and Allen and all of that thing, and Brendan Shine and all of the older, more Irish sort of singers. Probably wouldn't have heard of them as much over in England, but Johnny Cash was amongst all of them, and I remember liking the Johnny Cash songs more than the other songs. Yeah, so I suppose subconsciously it sunk in when I was only 5 or 6 years old. Yeah.
So it's very early. And is there a particular Johnny Cash song that you love? And if there is, why do you love that particular song, please?
Oh God, I always get upset.
Sorry.
I always get up. Honestly,
Sorry.
No, that's
She pulls them out every now and again.
Sorry, Clive.
I know. My God, no. I like so many of his songs. I do. I like the ones that suit my voice. Obviously, I like A Thing Called Love. You know that one. Yes. That's a song written by Jerry Reed, who was a fantastic singer-songwriter, guitar player. He was in some films also. He was a fairly well-known actor, but he was a great guitar player, and he wrote that song, and Johnny Cash did that song, A Thing Called Love. So A Thing Called Love, One Piece at a Time. I love that one because it's funny. Sunday Morning Coming Down. Once again, that's Chris Christopherson's song. The Highwayman. I love that song.
You talk about that, Clive? So during my show, sometimes I play some of the Highwaymen songs and the other band, Traveling Wilburys. But Chris Christopherson, Wayne and Jennings, and all those. Have you ever thought about taking Johnny Cash on the road as a Highwayman at all? A sideline show?
I could, but I think there's already a tribute to the Highwaymen out there, but you know what I mean. I think the Highwaymen are not. I don't think they're a well enough known show to warrant doing a dedicated show to them.
Okay.
I'd rather do my own material, really. I mean, it's difficult enough to sell tickets for the road show, the Johnny Cash road show, without taking on anything else. I do own another show called the Honky Tonk Angels.
I did notice that actually on Facebook.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about the Honky Tonk Angels.
It's a show that I created as a sideline.
Oops, unfortunately we've lost connection.
Yeah, we lost him, have we?
Sorry, Clive, I think we've lost
Have
connection.
you lost me?
There you are. I can see you again now. Sorry.
Yeah.
Have you lost
we're
me?
back
Thank
again.
you.
You're back again. And he's back in the room.
Hello?
Hello.
Oh,
Thank you. We can hear you now. Sorry.
Are you there?
Yes,
Yeah.
we're here now. Sorry.
Hold on a minute.
We must have lost
Do I need to press
connection.
something?
He's
I can't hear you.
You can't hear us.
Oh dear. You've gone.
okay. I think.
Maybe turn the sound up. Maybe.
Yeah, we're still hooked up. Okay. Yeah.
Oh dear, unfortunately we've lost connection, so hopefully Clive will join us very shortly, so we can continue with the interview and asking him a little bit more about the Honky Tonk Angels as well.
I think we'll play one or two clips while we're waiting for Clive to come back, and we'll just play a clip here if we can. This is one of his most famous ones, I think.
That's fantastic. Hi, Clive.
Yes.
We're just playing one of your clips, Clive, of
Okay.
Ring of Fire.
Yeah, that's the.
We thought we'd just take the opportunity whilst we were getting you back to play your clip, and that's why it was there.
Oh, bless you. Thank you. No, that's always our last song. Yeah.
And fantastic song as well. So please tell us, Clive, like we were saying just before we lost connection, about the Honky Tonk Angels, and what was your inspiration behind actually starting that particular show, please?
Okay. The reason why I went was because my son phoned me, because I usually pick him up from school. And
oh, bless you. You okay for time?
Yes, I thought that the interview was only going to be about five minutes, so I
sorry,
Clive.
Tony was in contact with you.
I think whenever if you start to feel uncomfortable and you feel that time is up, then just let us know.
I'm absolutely fine, Tony. Right, the Honky Tonk Angels. Yes, it's another show that I created, and it's only going to be the one other show, because I don't think that you can. I already think that I'm split, because I think the Johnny Cash Roadshow was successful, and hopefully will be successful again when the restrictions are lifted. But it's been successful to this point because I've given it my everything. I haven't like done this and done that and everything else. I put all of my love and energy and enthusiasm all into that one show, and I think that it's paid off because of that.
It certainly has. You can see, when you're on stage and performing,
you're
putting your heart and soul, into every song that you do actually perform. Yeah.
So to the point where I sacrificed myself as Clive John, the singer-songwriter. I've let that go because of it. But now I'm at the age where I want to try and not bring back my songwriting, but I want. My songwriting. I want to try and bring that back a little bit, so I can show the world that I'm doing my own thing. Also, that's why we're doing my own show of my own material next year. Anyway, sorry, I always do this. I was
going to say the Honky Tonk Angels. Yes. So was that the inspiration behind it then? So you can do your own material through the Honky Tonk Angels?
It was just another show that I wanted to do. Also, everything that I do is always going to be loosely within the country genre, not the country and western genre, because I think the British country and western scene is really yee-haw, and it's really cheesy. So I want to do country music in a high quality fashion, the way that it should be done. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So
I do a country show myself, as I say, but that's more modern country, not traditional country, as you call country and western. That's traditional country.
Yes.
And that's the kind of era that Johnny Cash comes from. But the country I know now is the modern day country, with Dierks Bentley, Tim McGraw, that kind of thing.
Well, that's modern country, but I mean proper roots country, like I wouldn't say that Johnny Cash is country. I think he's just Johnny Cash. You can't pigeonhole him, I don't think. Yes, he does lean towards country. Country is probably the nearest genre, but I just think that he's Johnny Cash. There isn't anybody else that sounds like him. But the Honky Tonk Angels, I wanted to create a country variety show and do a lot of the well-loved songs like Stand By Your Man and Tammy Wynette, and the Patsy Cline songs too, like Crazy and all of that, and Dolly Parton, obviously. So I've got three ladies that do the songs of Dolly Parton, Tammy Wynette, and Patsy Cline. And I've got a band, a 5-piece band, which play the pedal steel, double bass, all the instruments that should be used for those songs, and they sound awesome. But
Wish you stopped doing that.
I'm trying to get them on the road as soon as possible. They were supposed to be on the road. We had about 8 or 9 shows booked in for 2020, but of course the COVID thing put an end to that. So hopefully those shows are going to be rescheduled, and they'll be doing them again next year.
Which would be fantastic. I'd love to actually see one of those shows as well. You know, I can imagine they are amazing. So getting back to your shows and obviously getting prepared to get back on the road again, how many shows are you looking at to hopefully do this year? I mean, obviously now we're in July, before you know it'll be August as well, and obviously restrictions are going to be easing on the 19th of actual July. So how many shows have you sort of like planned between now and Christmas, for instance?
Well, I'm trying to get back on the road for September, so we begin in September. I've got my calendar here. Shall I read it out or not?
Yes, please, because I know you're in Wimborne on the 11th.
Then our viewers can have an idea when to expect you.
Yeah, they can actually purchase the tickets from the Tivoli Theatre. For all of us viewers that live in Dorset, if you'd like to go see Clive at the Tivoli Theatre and Johnny Cash Roadshow, you can actually purchase the tickets on their website, which is www.tivolitheatre.com. So that's www.tivolitheatre.com.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. So that's the Tivoli. We've been there lots of times before. I know the venue manager, Charlie. It's
lovely there, isn't it? Because it's a really old theatre, isn't it? It's like going back in a time warp.
I used to speak to a guy called Tim there. Tim was the manager when I last spoke to him at the theatre. Tim.
Yeah, lovely guy. It's kind of like a cross between a nice village hall and a theatre, isn't it? You know what I mean?
Is, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
I say it's been there many, many years. It's very Victorian. It's a Victorian theatre, isn't it? I mean, I've performed on the stage there as myself, a few times singing, and it's just a lovely, quaint theatre, isn't it? Like you say.
See you one of these
bless
days.
you! I have to send you some of my songs. You accept my friend request, and you can hear some of my songs.
Yeah, definitely. So
thank you.
The first one is the King's Hall down in Herne Bay on September the 4th. I've never been there before, but that's our first one. And Herne Bay is right down south. It's right down south.
That's not far from us, is it?
Herne Bay. Isn't that in
Canterbury,
Somerset?
sort of?
Yeah, Somerset way, I think.
Somerset way, I think.
Yeah.
Herne Bay.
No, it's further.
Is it further? Is it Devon? Down that way? Would you say Devon?
Right down.
I've heard of it.
I've heard of them.
It's
Ilfracombe, down that way.
No, it's like near Folkestone, Canterbury.
Oh, it's completely the opposite way. Oh, it's
That's
down
the East Country.
right. It's down
Yeah.
Kent.
Yeah, East Country. Yeah.
So that's Herne Bay on the 4th September, and then we're going to Lowestoft at the Marina Theatre on the 9th of September, and then the Brook, which is a music venue in Southampton on the 10th of September.
You're getting closer.
Yes.
And then with you at Wimborne.
Wimborne.
Yeah.
That's the one.
Yeah. And then Basingstoke at the Haymarket on the night after you. That's
my old town.
Yeah. And then we got a big one on Monday the 13th at Liverpool Empire, which is a huge venue, and that's one of our largest venues that we do. That's on Monday the 13th, so that's 5 gigs back to back all over the country.
What do you do when you're doing these gigs? Are you touring? Do you stay in hotels, or do you have campers or whatever?
I used to have a business account with Premier Inns.
Okay.
Premier Inns, so I just book Premier Inns. My wife books them for us. And
they're really good Premier Inns as well, and the beds are nice and comfortable, aren't they?
Yeah, they serve a purpose, as you say, the beds are comfortable, but they're usually next to Brewers Fayre, which
yes,
is
Brewers Fayre's good.
Yeah.
The breakfasts are terrible. They're horrible.
That's the only problem with Premier, isn't it? You have to go to a separate company almost just to get a breakfast or a dinner rather than the venue
band,
doing it themselves.
Yeah, the band always go to They always go to McDonald's.
Oh,
Yeah.
do they? I must
Don't
admit,
blame 'em.
McDonald's is very cheap, isn't it?
Yeah.
And you go for the drive-through as
I can
well.
imagine the Happy Meals all round, Clive.
It's just cheap, that's the reason
Yeah.
why the rest of the band go, So 16th at Grimsby Auditorium, and then Buxton Opera House on the 17th of September, which is a great venue, really old, big Victorian venue. And then the Octagon in Yeovil on the 24th of September.
That's where my daughter lives, in Yeovil.
Yeah.
So I'm always backwards and forwards down that way.
Yeah.
So you've got lots of shows planned.
Yeah, and then Scarborough at the end of the month, and then the Victoria Theatre in Halifax at the end of the month, and then we're off to Belgium and Holland for about 6 or 7 dates at the beginning of October. But
exciting!
This all depends on the restrictions, doesn't it?
So you're going to be on the road then, really, I suppose, Clive, for maybe 3 or 4 weeks away from your family in total.
Well, that's just what I've said, but we get back from Holland on the 14th of October, and then we've got we're at the Grove in Dunstable the day after we get back, and then the Pavilion Theatre in Cromer the night after that, and then we've got one night off, and then we've got Brighton, then we've got West Kensington in London, then we've got Chatham, then we've got the Discorn Hall, and then the Princes in Clacton, and then the Princess Theatre in Torquay.
Can I just say something, Clive, while you're reading these out? And it absolutely thrills me that you've got these bookings to go to, mate. Absolutely brilliant. You've got all this much lined up. I'm actually thrilled for you that you're going to be back on the road again and start doing what you do best.
It's exciting.
It is exciting, but only if they sell tickets, because I pay the sound crew and I pay the band a fixed fee. So if I don't sell enough tickets, then I could literally lose my house over it. So to me, it's great to have all of the dates, but also it's
people. You need to sell the tickets.
A long list of risks. That's what it is. That's what it is.
Can I just reiterate something, Clive? For you saying that and how much you depend on it, that let's let our viewers know that the fact that Clive isn't on a salary. The theatre doesn't play Clive. It's the amount of people that goes and sees Clive's show that he relies on. So please go and see the show and support Clive, because it's you getting through that door is whether he has his next meal or not, because we depend on his viewers and our listeners to go and see you.
Yeah.
Also, Clive, do you have a particular website where people can actually purchase tickets for all of these different locations that before you actually go there, so they can sort of plan it? Because quite often people will plan events, ahead throughout the year of, particular bands they want to go and see, or shows. Have you actually got a direct website where they can go and then click on there and think, right, I'm going to get my ticket now, ready for when you come to this particular location, please?
Yeah. They just go onto my website, the show website, and a list of all the dates. In fact, the website's just been completely revamped, and my new album's available on there. There's a shop page with all of the albums and the merchandise, so you can order a cap and a beanie and a baseball, the hoodies and the t-shirts, and all of my albums, all of the Roadshow albums, and also my own albums as a songwriter, and all of the show dates also. So that's on www.johnnycashroadshow. That's all one word, JOHNNY, johnnycashroadshow.com, and everything's on there.
Fantastic. So again, for all of you viewers that are watching today and love to go and see Clive, who's amazing on stage, in order to purchase the tickets and see if he's coming to your town, it's www.johnnycashroadshow.com. johnnycashroadshow.com, and on there you can actually book your tickets for yourself, for your families, for your friends, and plan ahead before you actually visit a theatre near you, and you won't be disappointed. Say, Clive is amazing, phenomenal on the stage, aren't you, Clive?
I'm not sure. Well, I
think you are.
We all think you are.
Myself, I think you are phenomenal on that stage. You know.
I don't know. I don't think about it. I don't think I'm good, bad, or indifferent. I just do what I do. I haven't ever thought about, am I good or am I not good? You know what I mean?
You're very humble like me, Clive, but you love what you do and you do what you love. And at the end of the day, it shines through when you are on that stage and you captivate the audience and they all love you. So we love you, don't we?
Well,
think you're amazing.
The whole team here in the hot seat absolutely love you and adore you for what you do.
And we're proud of you as well, Clive, you know, and everything that you have achieved as well. And keep shining bright, doing what you love.
I do. I mean, since the lockdown, I've written a whole load of songs, and I think my new songwriting it's actually more uplifting. I've written in the past. I used to be a typical songwriter, like sitting on the end of the bed and woe is me and all misery songs. And then as I've aged, I've actually got more sort of optimistic. You know what I mean? And a lot of my songs are more sort of upbeat or a little bit feel good, you know. So I'm looking forward to that. I mean, obviously there are the ballads and all of that, but generally I think my songwriting is getting more feel good. So I'm looking forward to recording it, but I can't at the moment. I can't afford to lay the money aside to record a new album of my own material. Like my last album, I had the spare money, and my last album, a brand new beginning of just my own material. I had a string quartet on it. I had violins and cellos and all of that. So I can't lay that money aside for a new album at the moment. I need to put money into the marketing. Like all our posters and flyers for September alone were like 1,700.
Really? Can I just say, Clive, that we've made a lot of progress here this afternoon, and as we've got a couple of minutes left, and I want to say on behalf of myself, thank you for talking to us today, and I'm going to leave the last couple of minutes to Deborah. I know she's got a couple of last minute questions she likes to ask.
Okay, nice to see you, by the way.
Yeah, I'm staying here, but I'm going to
Clive, as I say, because I haven't seen you since 2018, so I feel really humbled, you know, to interview you today on the show. And I say, I'm just really excited for you to be able to get back on the road and things to get back to normal as well. So where would you like to see the sort of like show going within the next year? I mean, obviously you've got plans with the 2 shows and also with your album as well. I mean, have you ever thought about sort of maybe doing a show where you're collaborating all of them together and doing maybe, for instance, I know your show's only going for a couple of hours, but if you maybe sort of done like Johnny Cash and then Honky Tonk Angels and then some of your own songs, and it's like maybe an evening with Clive John and then incorporating Johnny Cash, the Honky Tonk Angels and your original music. I mean, something maybe you could even think about yourself where you do maybe a one-off show. What do you reckon?
I think that's a really, really good idea. I mean, as I say, I am doing one show. I've got one venue called the Chroma Pavilion Theatre, and they're allowing me to go and do one night of my own material next May. So they're booking me as myself. But yeah, I think that doing a night of the Honky Tonk Angels and I mean, I obviously couldn't use the band from that show because it's a nightmare when you have to set up different musicians with all their different settings and all the rest of it. So I'd probably get one of the lady singers from that show and get my band to learn a few of those songs so that they could back them, and then I could have like a few of the songs from Patsy Cline and Tammy Wynette, for example, and then do my own material also, maybe something like that. Yeah, that's a good idea.
I think that'd be really good for the future. It could be like a variety show then, and you can put that show together yourself and call it an evening with Clive John, and then add everything else that you do, because you're multi-talented and you're very diverse in what you do as well. So it'd be wonderful in the future, maybe see a show where you're covering everything that you do, so people can see all sides of the amazing work that you do. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that is a wonderful idea. I'll give it some thought. I mean, obviously, if I do something like that, it wouldn't happen till 2000 and probably, well, maybe late 2022, but probably not until 2023, because all of the shows for next year are like
already booked.
They're all the reschedules. So all of the shows that should have happened during 2020, they've all been rescheduled. So there's like, I think in theatres for next year, you're going to have night after night of shows. You know, that's the other thing. So I think it'll take another year before everything settles back to the way that it was.
Yes. You know? And it'd be wonderful, you know, to have all of the theatres opening up. I mean, I know the nightclubs are still closed at the moment, and the youngsters will look forward to the nightclubs opening up. But it's just nice that we're getting back to some sort of normality. Where I don't think things will ever be normal again, because the way we're doing things is changing, because the world is changing, you know, in itself anyway. And people are constantly sort of changing themselves, aren't they? As well. But I do think there's hope for the future. I think there's lots of good things for us all to look forward to, lots of positive things as well.
I think that people, I mean, for me, for all theatre shows, I don't think that we're going to start selling tickets until the masks are gone, because I think the masks, in my opinion, I know that there's other people that want to keep on wearing the masks, but in my little opinion, I think that it's a great thing that it's not going to be the law for people to wear them, because when you see people wearing it sends out a subconscious message that there's something wrong. You know what I mean? So when there's no more masks, I think subconsciously, I think people will begin to relax a little bit more.
And I think also, like you say, you know, fear as well, because a lot of people have been very fearful since the pandemic. And, you know, as that fear is dissipating now, you know, people are no longer being afraid to step out into the world and to breathe in the fresh air, and also realizing that the world is a safe place at the end of the day, not to be afraid to step out of your homes. The world is a safe place at the end of the day, isn't it?
Well, it's something, obviously, that it's going to be something that we need to live with. It's just like we live with the flu or whatever it is.
I think that's already been said in Parliament anyway, hasn't it? It's already been said.
About precautionary measures at the end of the day, isn't it? It's just staying safe, precautionary measures, washing your hands, hand sanitizing, like you say. Those that want to wear the mask, and they can. And, you know, those that don't want to wear the mask, then that's entirely up to them as well, isn't it, at the end of the day?
I think that hand sanitizing it's not an invasive thing. It's something that you can quickly do. And I think that it protects you a lot more than a mask does.
Yes, I think so.
Yeah. So I think that if there's anything that I will carry on doing, I personally will carry on sanitizing before and after you go into a supermarket, for example. You know, so I think that that's important, but it's something that doesn't bother people. It's something that doesn't look like there's something wrong, you know. So I think that that's the way.
Most definitely. And, you know, like you say, taking the precautionary measures and stay safe and use hand sanitizer. A lot of people carry it around in their handbags anyway. Well, thank you so much, Clive, for talking to us today. We can't wait for you, you know, to come down to Dorset.
Come on
September the 11th to see you live performing on stage, and also meet your new June Cash as well. And good luck with everything you're doing. I say you're going to have a busy period and enjoy the special time with your family before you go on the road as well, because I'm sure that they will miss you and you'll miss your family too.
Yeah, of course. And I look forward very much to seeing you on September the 11th in Wimborne.
Oh, thank you so much.
Give our love to Sarah, by the way, and the children.
And to the children as well.
I definitely will, Tony. And Deborah, all the best.
Oh, take care. God bless you.
Goodbye.
You take care. Stay in touch.
Thank you, Clive.
Thank you.
All the best.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you. And once again, for those of you that have been watching the show, if you'd like to purchase tickets to see Clive John perform live on stage with the Johnny Cash Tribute Act, you can go directly onto his website, pre-book your tickets for your family and your friends on www.johnnycashroadshow.com. So that's www.johnnycashroadshow.com.
It's always a pleasure to speak to Clive, isn't it? He's
It
a
certainly
lovely,
is.
lovely guy.
It certainly is.
And when you meet him in person as well, if you get a chance to go and see a show and you go backstage and you get to talk to Clive, you will see he is a totally down-to-earth, lovable guy. And he just wants to do the best for himself and his family, which we can't blame him for that, really.
Most definitely. And he's an amazing singer and performer. So you won't be disappointed, and you want a fantastic night out. Book your tickets now. So that's the end of the show today. So thank you so much for all of your love and all your support, and also to our wonderful show producers, Moinul and Salima, and also Tom, that's hiding behind the camera as well.
Indeed, yes.
And we will be back in a few weeks once again on In the Hot Seat with Deborah, Fennella, and
Totally go. Until then, bye.
bye for now, wherever you are in the world, and stay safe.
The ring of fire, the ring of fire.